Hello everyone, welcome to day 21 of a diary of a multifaceted mama. Just sitting here this morning doing my reflections like I do every morning in some way, shape, or form. Some mornings I deal with them a little bit more formally. Some mornings I do them a little bit more passively. Some mornings I do much more writing. Some mornings I do much more mindful awareness or meditation or walking or whatever the case is. So I switch it up and see what feels best. So this morning I was definitely doing some more meditation, like sitting with myself and reflecting before and after that. And one of the things that came up for me, just that I've been noticing, is a pattern of kind of focusing on how I can be there to help others, or what I can do to contribute to help others, whether that's just in my regular life or in social media stuff or whatever the case is. And this is not like a new pattern. This is a pattern I've known has been there, and it's from when I was young, and have done a lot of work around it. So it's not something that's super strong or challenging or anything like that, like it was in the past, but it's definitely a thread of what is within me, what is a part of me, like a fabric that's woven in my experience of becoming me. And so it's one that I've noticed has been coming up for me just to look at again, because in my reflection this morning, there's just the part of me that when I was younger always felt like she wasn't wanted. And I know a lot of people can relate to this. The part that feels like she wasn't wanted, and so maybe she could make herself needed, or maybe she can make herself helpful. That part, many of us have a part of us that feel like that from childhood or a traumatic experience or whatever the case may be for you. Maybe that not feeling wanted isn't the word for you. Maybe it's like not feeling enough, or not feeling like you belong, or not feeling like you're of value, or people don't talk about this a lot, but it's very, very, as a therapist and as a woman who has experienced relational trauma and emotional trauma and my own mental health challenges, I can tell you that it is incredibly common. Most people have a part of themselves that questions, am I good enough? Maybe I'm not. And I think we need to talk about that more. Not to give that part of us all of the glory, so to speak, and say that we are living in a place of victimhood, because we each do have, especially as adults, we each do have power in our lives to make decisions, even though there were times in our life when we felt like we were powerless, or we didn't get to be a part of making the decisions. As adults, we get to make decisions. And if we're in a position or in a relationship where our decisions don't matter, or they're never considered valid, or they're never just considered, then that's unhealthy. It's toxic, and it's something that we need to be aware of. And so if that part of you is really, really loud of, I'm not good enough, I'm not being heard, I'm not being listened to, like I'm being used, or whatever the case is, we got to pay attention to it. Got to pay attention to it. The only reason that that part of me isn't hurting like it was before is because I paid attention to it and spent years processing it and healing it and shifting my relationship with it. So now when I notice it coming up for me to tend to pay attention to, I have a healthier relationship with it. It's not nearly as like intense or strong or anything like that. It's just an awareness of, oh, hi, hello, old friend. I see you there popping up again. Let's have a chat, right? Like, let's see what's going on here. And for some of you listening in, it might be like, this is weird. Just talking about different parts of herself and talking to herself. Guess what? Everyone talks to themselves. Might as well do it deliberately and in a healthy way. I can't count how many times I've had to say that to folks. Everyone talks to themselves. You can do it in an unhealthy way or in a healthy way. You can do it in an unintentional way or in an intentional way. Might as well get intentional about it and do it in a healthy way. Do it in a way that helps you become a healthier you, a happier you, a more productive you. Like, let's do it that way. Also, there are multiple theories out there that support what's called parts work. And I am a very strong proponent of parts work, which is acknowledging that there are different parts of us as we have different emotions, different reactions within us. There are different parts of us that get pulled up that have had experiences with, say, like I said, trauma in our childhood, or feeling abandoned, or feeling like they had to be the responsible one, or whatever the case is. It's still all us, right? So just like any complex organism, right? There's different parts that make up the whole, just like our physical body. You know, I have fingers, I have toes, I have hands, I have arms, I have legs. I have different parts of my body with different functions, but together they make up the whole of my body. It's the same concept, except these aren't tangible parts that we're talking about, right? They're just different parts of our life experience that make up who we are within us. Different parts within our psychology that are all just part of us. But each part is a part of us. Each part doesn't represent one whole of us. It's a part of the whole. And so if we can just have an awareness around that, then we can actually shift our relationship with those parts inside of us and therefore heal and help our relationship with ourselves as a whole. So that's a really quick summation of parts work, which I do with myself, with my clients, with my kids, and helping them with their emotions as a mentor. Like it's just really, really powerful stuff if you know and are willing to explore how to do it in a healthy and helpful way. So I do recommend it for those that, you know, feel some resonance with it. Anyway, part of me, familiar part of me that I noticed just it was coming back up was that part of me this morning of like, hey, I think maybe there's something to pay attention to. Pay attention to this part that's feeling like you're not paying attention to it, and like you are focusing maybe a little bit too much right now on everything that you could do for others or could share with others. And the work right now that you're being pulled in to focus on is how you can really show up for yourself in maybe ways that have slipped recently or whatever the case is. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Not done looking at it. I'm going to probably do some more writing throughout the day, depending on what time my kids wake up this morning, and lean more into that and see where it goes, see where it takes me. But it's just a reminder, you know, things like this are just a reminder that no matter who we are, there's always areas where we can continue to heal, continue to grow, so we can continue to evolve. And this is just another example of that. So I know I've kind of fallen off the structure of, you know, talking about what's been challenging or what, where I've grown or where I want to grow, or the good and the grateful. I am doing that kind of like mentally in the background of especially the good and the grateful. That's something that I regularly do anyway. So I'll probably bring that structure back in if it feels just organically helpful. But I'm not gonna force it, right? Because this is my vlog series, and we get to do it the way that we want to do it, right? Whatever feels right. So that's what I'm doing. And if you're tagging along, you've been hopping in to all of the videos along the way, then I hope that you're doing it the way that works for you, right? I hope that you're doing it in a way that's helpful, or just noticing whatever's coming up for you and treating yourself with some kind of kindness and compassion and grace, even though we still need to challenge ourselves, right? Like, we can challenge ourselves and be compassionate as we challenge ourselves. It took me a long time to learn that. That didn't make any sense to me for a long time, but it's true, right? Like, we can challenge ourselves to grow, and hold ourselves accountable without beating ourselves up, without overly criticizing ourselves, without making ourselves bad or wrong, or like, just, there is a middle ground there. There is a middle ground there. So that's what's coming up for me this morning. And those are some of my reflections. And I'm excited to keep reflecting on this to see what else comes up, because anytime I really, really intentionally sit down with myself and notice different parts coming up that need to be tended to, and I keep doing that in a way that feels good, it pays off. It pays off. It makes a difference. So I'm excited to see what comes of this one. So until next time, y'all, thanks for hanging with me. I'll see you at day Can't talk. I'll see you at day 22.